Welcome to your Get That Nugget for GCSE Maths. Today we will be concentrating on giving you a framework to answer Venn diagram style questions. This session is to complement your lessons with your teachers and is not to replace them in any way. Okay, so today we're going to look at Venn diagrams. However, before we do that, what we need to do is be really confident with understanding the notation surrounding Venn diagrams and understand when we have got particular notation, what it is that we are actually looking at. So what we've got here is a Venn diagram. We've got our two circles overlapping and we have a shaded area. Now our shaded area that we have here is what we call the intersection. And we call it the intersection because that's where our two circles intersect. Now, this is represented by the notation A, and then we use sort of a little bit like an N sort of shape. And that means A and B, okay? And ultimately what this is saying is the things that are in both A and B. So that's our middle bit here, okay? Then what we've got here is a second Venn diagram. And as you can see, the circles are fully shaded, okay? So we have got all of A and we've got all of B. Now this is what we say, A or B. So we're saying anything that is in A or anything that's in B. And this is what we call our union. Okay. And then the last one we've got here, as you can see, the shaded area is everything that is not circle A. So we can see this part of the circle is not shaded, but we can also see this part of the circle, which is our overlap, our intersection between A and B, is also not shaded. And this is what we call the complement. Now this, the notation we use is, in this case, because we are talking of everything that is not A, we're going to use the letter A and sort of an apostrophe above it. And this means anything that is not A. If we had B and an apostrophe, that would mean anything that's not B. And in that case, everything would be circled apart from our B circle. So let's have a look at what some questions might look like. So example 1, we've got some people here and they have been sorted into a Venn diagram. We've got people who have brown hair, we've got people who have glasses, we've got one person in the middle who has brown hair and glasses, and then we've got these people on the outside that do not fit into those categories. The question then says, calculate the following probabilities. So this P just stands for our probability, and this is saying the probability that the person that we are choosing from is got both brown, so is in the category of brown hair, and then this U means or glasses. So we're saying brown hair or glasses. Doesn't have to be both, we're saying or, okay? So if we look at our Venn diagram, we've got 3 people that have brown hair, a fourth that has brown hair and glasses, and then we've got 2 people who have glasses. So altogether in brown hair or glasses, we have got 6 people. So we're going to say 6 is going to go on our numerator of our fraction. And then on our denominator of our fraction, it's just how many we've got all together. So we've got 4 people around the outside, so our probability will be 6 out of 10. Now we can simplify that fraction if we want to, and that is going to get us 3 out of 5. Then if we look at this next one, the probability, that's what our P stands for. And this symbol this time means and. Now the way I like to remember it, I always think this symbol looks a little bit like an N, and I always think and has an N in the middle. And that's how I like to remember it. So the probability of having brown hair and glasses. So if we go to our Venn diagram, thinking back to our notation, our and is the people that's in both categories. So in this case, we've got one person. So our probability, we're going to say, is 1 out of, and again, we've got 10 people altogether. So 1 out of 10. Then if we have a look at this one here, we've got the probability of, and this is our complement. So this is the probability of not B. So we're saying the probability of the person not having brown hair. And so for this one, what we do is we include everything that is not in the brown hair circle. So we're looking, this circle is our brown hair. So this is the circle we are not including. So if we look at our outside, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 people. And then we've got these 2 people here who are not in the brown hair category. So our numerator is going to be 6 because we've got these 4 on the outside and these 2 who are not in our brown hair circle. And then again, our denominator is going to be 10 because we've got 10 people together. I can simplify that to 3 over 5. Okay, Let's have a look at another Venn diagram example. So in this example, what you have got is what we call our universal set. And our set essentially are the numbers that we are dealing with. So in this example, we've got the numbers 1 to 10. Now what this then tells us is that A is our multiples of 2. That just means our numbers in the 2 times table. And B is our multiples of 3. So the numbers in the 3 times table. And we want to complete the Venn diagram. Now my suggestion is go through every single number individually and figure out where it's going to fit in. So here we'll have our multiples of 2, here we'll have our multiples of 3, and in the middle here we're going to have our numbers that are both in the 2 times table and the 3 times table. And then of course on our outside we're going to have the numbers that aren't in either of those times tables. So if we start with the number 1, 1 is not in the 2 times table and it's not in the 3 times table, so I'm going to put that on the outside. Then if we look at 2, 2 is in the 2 times table but it's not in the 3 times table, so 2 is just going to go in A. Then if we look at 3, it's in the 3 times table, so that's going to go in B. And then if we go to 4, 4 is in the 2 times table but not in the 3s, so that's just going to go in circle A. Then 5, 5 is not in the 2 times table and it's not in the 3 times table, so I'm going to put 5 on the outside. Then if we go to 6, 6 is in the 2 times table and also in the 3 times table, so I'm going to put 6 in the middle. Then if we go to 7, 7's not in the 2 times table, not in the 3 times table, so I'm going to put that on the outside here, 7. Then if we go to 8, 8 is in the 2 times table but not in the 3s, so I'm going to put an 8 in here. Then 9 is in the 3 times table but not in the 2 times table, so I'm going to put a 9 here. And then 10, 10 is in the 2 times table, so 10 is going to go here. We have then completed our Venn diagram. A number is chosen at random from the universal set. And then we've got this question here. Now this says, what is the probability? Because the P stands for our probability. And if we remember this symbol, it looks like an N. And remember what word has N in the middle? And. So this is saying, what is the probability of A and B? So we need to look at our intersection and we've only got one number. So we're going to say 1 out of how many numbers we've got all together, which is 10. Okay, example number 3 then. 50 people are surveyed, 25 of them like tea, 30 of them like coffee, 10 of them like tea and coffee. Draw a Venn diagram for this information. Now some of you might be looking at this and thinking, well, 50 people are surveyed. If I add all of these together, 25 add to 30, that's going to get us 55, which is above what we've got. And that's not even including who we've got in the middle. So let's have a look at how we might answer this question. First thing we're going to do, draw ourselves a box. And then in the middle, we're going to draw ourselves 2 circles for our Venn diagram. It doesn't have to look pretty. And then what we're going to do is we're going to label this one. We'll say this is tea. And we're going to label this one and we're going to say this is coffee. Now, as you can see, our numbers don't quite add up to 50. So let's think about what we may do. Well, first thing, 10 of them like tea and coffee. So I know straight away that I have got 10 people in the middle who like both. Now, in this question, this tells us 25 people like tea. However, we've already got 10 of those people in the middle who also like coffee. So what I can then do is I can say 25 subtract 10. That tells me that I've got 15 people who just like tea. So 25 people altogether that like tea. We know 10 of those like tea and coffee, which means we must have 15 who like only tea. And then we can do the same for this side. So we have got 30 people like coffee. We know 10 of them like tea as well. So if I do 30 subtract 10, that's going to get me 20 who just like coffee. And then we need to figure out how many people don't like tea and don't like coffee. Well, if I add these up, 20 add 10, that's going to get me 30. Add 15 is going to get me 45. I've got 50 people altogether, which means if I then do 50 subtract 45, I've got 5 people who do not like tea or coffee. Okay, let's look at one more example. So, example 4, our universal set is our even numbers that are between 1 and 33. We've then got set A and we've got set B, and we want to complete the Venn diagram. Now, my suggestion to you is, before we start this, write what our even numbers are. So, between 1 and 33, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, and 32. Now I can see all of the numbers I'm dealing with. Now, we have got our set A are these sets of numbers, and set B are this set of numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through set A first and foremost. So I'm going to look at the number 2. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, is the number 2 also in set B? It's not, so I just write that in circle A, and I'm going to cross it off as I go along. That's just going to make sure that I don't get confused. Now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to cross it off here, because these are all of the numbers I need to put in my Venn diagram. When I cross them off, I know which ones I've got left. Then I'm going to go along. I've got 4. Is 4 in set B? No, so 4 is just going to go here. Again, crossing it off from our question and crossing it off from our whole list. Then if we look at 6, we've got 6 in set A, but we've also got 6 in set B. So 6 is going to go in the middle. I'm going to cross that off from both of our sets, and I'm going to cross it off from our whole numbers. Then we've got 12 in set A, and I've also got a 12 in set B. So I'm going to put 12 in the middle. 12 I'm going to cross off there, and I'm going to go to this list and I'm going to cross off the 12 as well. Then if I carry on with set A, I've got an 18 here, but I don't have an 18 in set B, so I'm going to pop 18 here. Cross it off here and cross it off here. And all I'm doing by crossing it off is I'm just making sure I've accounted for every single number. Then if we go to 32, I haven't got 32 in set B, so I'm going to put 32 here, and I'm going to cross that off from my list here. Then if we go to B, we've got a 10 in set B left, so I'm going to pop a 10 here, cross it off here and here. Then I've got a 20 in B, so I'm going to put 20 here and cross it off from my list. And I've got 24 in B, which again I'm going to put here and cross it off from my set and from my list. Now if we go to our list here, we can still see we've still got some even numbers between 1 and 33 that were not in A and were not in B, and so we're just going to put those around the outside. So I've got 8, cross that off. I have 14, cross that off. I have 16, I have 22, 26, 28, and 30. And there we go, we've completed the Venn diagram. A number is chosen at random from the universal set. What is the probability? Is it in the set A, U, B? And this we're going to say is or. So we're saying, what is the probability it's in the set A or B? So we just need to count up how many numbers we've got in A or B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got 9 in A or B. Out of how many numbers we've got all together, we had 9 in the circles, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it'll be 9 out of 16. Okay. Here's 2 examples for you to have a go at.